Hey guys, welcome back. This is Nick.
And this is Nadine. And we are back with our Friday night, what do we call it? Our Friday night sit down?
Yeah.
Our Friday night sit down podcast. We have been missing, I think it's been about a year since we've been missing.
I don't know if it's exactly a year.
No, it's
a year?
It's
Okay.
more than a year because we're in November now. So I think the last time.
It's been a while. So.
Yeah, the last time we did it, it was like early fall.
Yeah.
And now we're in late fall. So it's been a while. We've been really wanting to come back. The last time that we did a podcast, it was a very tumultuous podcast. It was like no hard feelings between myself and Nick, but it was like a very it was a sizzler, right?
It was a very passionate.
Passionate is the word.
Sit down podcast.
Yes.
So.
And I have to say, I was very impressed. We, we don't have a lot of traffic to the podcast, but I was very impressed with the amount of people that kept asking for the podcast. So this is definitely something that we want to continue. And in future, we will also potentially do this live, on live stream.
Yes.
We're coming back with a few hot topics. So the first one is disclaimer.
This is a disclaimer merely. This is just our experience, our journey, and things that we wanted to share with you guys, and how we live our life and how we go about our business day to day. So, we are no experts on relationship, but we will share some things that works for us. And
Yes.
down below in the comment, you guys could
Chime
be
in.
active
Yes.
and share some of your comments and ideas of what work for
What
you
works
guys.
for you guys. Yeah.
Relationship.
The first topic is a very interesting topic that we're going to be doing this week. So one of our sons, our older teenage sons, mentioned to us that there is a new movement. So I heard about this sometime last week.
And hold on, I got a disclaimer. I don't do politics, so just for this topic, I don't do politics. We will talk about it, but I'm not into politics like that.
So I don't do politics either. I say I do policy. So that's my claim. I do policy, not politics. But anyways, besides that, it really doesn't matter where you sit on the side of the fence of what we're going to speak about. Bottom line is it is a topic to be discussed, and we are going to discuss it here tonight. So we're going to discuss this 4B movement. So just this morning, this was not a part of the plan for today, by the way. I just thought, let's go ahead and talk about this since Nick wasn't very familiar with this. I thought I would do a little clip it since I came across this morning and show him what this movement was about. I'm just going to go ahead and play this clip to give him a little bit of insight on what this topic is about.
So apparently in South Korea, there was an extreme feminist movement that emerged during the 2010s as a response to what South Korean women perceived as a, yes, you guessed it, patriarchal and misogynistic culture, okay? So their movement really caught steam in 2016 after there was this highly publicized murder of a woman who was killed by a man, and although he was indeed found guilty of murder, the women in South Korea were still upset that the man was not also charged with a hate crime. So essentially, I understand that he's going to prison and he's obviously being charged, but I want you to say that he did this because she's a woman. Yeah, so they got upset about this, and what came to be known as the 4B movement took off, because obviously that could have only happened, refusing to charge him for a hate crime, because the patriarchy exists. So yes, the reactionary movement, known as 4B, I'm going to tell you what that means. 4B means for no's, because the B means no in Korean. And it refers to 4 self-imposed restrictions that women are supposed to put on themselves. Number 1, no dating men. Number 2, no sexual relationships with men. Number 3, no marriage to men. And number 4, no childbirth. which you would think number 4 would be a bit redundant if you're not having any sexual relations with men, but nobody ever accused these women of being geniuses. Naturally, of course, it has now been appropriated by the angry left-wing female voters across America who are super upset about the election results. So I'm just going to show you this because it is taking off. Like, this is a left-wing trend right now happening on the internet. You have to be aware of it.
Do you get the gist?
Yeah, I think I do.
If you guys have the kids around,
Excuse me. Oh my Lord.
this is not the topic for the kids. We rarely do topics where we kind of like explicitly say certain words, and we're not really going to go ahead and repeat those words. You guys are adults. We're all adults. You guys know what we're talking about. So just kind of like, an advisory notice for this one. Okay, so let's discuss 4B movement. Well, what do you think about this 4B movement? I'm not really sure, personally, I'm not really sure what this is going to prove or what this is going to do or the point it's going to make, especially if it's a small, and I'm assuming a very small group of women that are going to do this. But what do you think?
I just think people are bitter, and it doesn't make any sense. And I don't know enough about it, but from what I heard, is absolutely nonsense, and I there's not really too much to say about it. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what it doesn't make any sense. You're gonna stay dry because a person was elected that you didn't like or whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know. To me, like I said before, I don't play into politics, and I just think it's kind of silly, in my opinion. I really don't have much to say about that.
Okay. So, yeah, so I think, like, I'm just like, I'm trying to wrap my head around anybody that would start this movement as a means of punishment. I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to punish. Are they punishing the country? Are they punishing men? I assume the thought is that men did this, caused this. So since you guys created the situation, we should punish you. And I would assume...
But how does, like, that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? How does men cause this situation?
I mean, I didn't say I agree with it, but I'm just assuming that these women think that because I guess at the beginning we heard that because of our election, they have decided to do this movement. So is it like an extreme feminist movement? I wish we were doing this on a live. This would be such a good live. But
I mean, it's.
Is this an extreme feminist movement? Like to say, okay, we're feminists, we're pushing this feminist movement.
It's. I don't even know. I mean, it's the first time I'm hearing about it.
It was the first time I'm hearing about it. Like, kind of heard about it, but it makes. So what they're basically doing is protesting against men. So they're basically saying we're canceling all men, which I'm just not, like, I'm trying to understand what it's going to do. Okay, so we're canceling men. And so they won't have babies. They won't have offspring.
I just think somebody, a small group or whatever, like, I don't know. I'm just going off what I heard.
It's a small group.
But
we know that most women are not doing this.
It's just, I don't feel like
it's anti-man, anti-marriage, anti-family, as far as I'm concerned.
It's just, I can't come up with the words how to, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's not even worth my time talking about because it doesn't make any sense. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't. I mean, you're talking about. I mean, I get the name 4B and the history behind where it's coming from, but for you to parallel that with some type of election or whatever, like, it doesn't even make sense.
So I get it. I don't think it makes any sense too, but that's why I wanted to understand your thoughts.
So if something, all right, so put it like this. If something doesn't make sense to me, I can't think about what to say about it because it doesn't make sense to me. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't.
Okay, so I get that it doesn't make sense. But so you simply think people are bitter. But like I'm trying to understand what please comment down below because I'm trying to understand what the purpose of 4B is. If you are a person that may be listening to this podcast that is pro 4B movement, I'm really trying to grasp where the punishment is coming because I don't know the actual statistics, but I think I've heard in the past that the earth is literally populated with more men than women, right? So
there are more men than women, you're saying?
I believe that I've heard that, or is there more women than men? Let's see.
World
Population.
You can put it on there. Put it on the when you do the video.
Yeah, but world's population. Okay, so is there more? Which gender is greater in the world? So they do say that it's generally or roughly equal. So men hold a slight lead. So there's slightly more men than women. So I guess if the 4B movement takes away some of those women, the world becomes populated with less women.
I don't. Somebody needs to comment below and tell me what it means. What does that mean? Because it doesn't.
Because I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. Like, okay, so maybe 1,000 women. I'm gonna assume maybe 1,000, maybe 2. In all of the United States is going to be participating in this 4B. This is a really hot topic on TikTok, like this 4B movement. So women have been talking about this on TikTok like crazy. And I'm like, so if you just do 4B movement on TikTok, because Nick is having a hard time with it, I'm having a hard time with it. I mean, this is kind of out of...
The population in Korea, I think it was either last year or the year before. I can't remember, forgive me, I don't remember the genesis of it when it started. But for once, their population of people who died outweighed who was born. That hasn't happened in the history of Korea. Why? Because women are refusing to have kids until they're treated equally and fairly.
Oh,
it turns out women are a lot more...
Okay, so that's what it is. So women are refusing to have kids until they're treated equally. Okay. So welcome to the world of podcasting, of vlogging, and all of that. Our camera just died. So we're going to continue where we left off. I don't know. What was I saying? I think I was like searching TikTok. And when I searched TikTok, I saw the 4B movement is essentially, it's a block on having children. So women are saying, we are not having your babies anymore. And so we are going to cause like some type of, I don't know. I want to say it's like we're going to kill the human race in a sense. So we're going to decrease the level of human race.
From that little explanation on TikTok, it was just saying that they're protesting for equal rights for women. So now I don't know how not having kids equate to equal rights for women. So to me, I don't. It just doesn't make any. Maybe there's more to it that I'm not understanding, and I'm willing to understand. If you guys could just explain it down below, and maybe I'll have a change of heart. But I just don't.
Explain it in the comment section.
Yeah,
please.
I just don't understand. I just think it's not.
So it's interesting because the 4B movement essentially goes against everything that God created. It does. It goes against everything God created because God created the earth. He created man. He created woman. He said, you shall be fruitful. You shall procreate. So when you deliberately are like, okay, we are not going to procreate, it's almost like these women are using themselves as like a tool or like an object. That's what it comes off like to me. Like, women are more than just baby makers or objects. Like, for me to just say, oh, well, I'm locking off, like lock and key on this. We're not going to have any more babies because I don't like the way how the politics is going in this country.
Like, I mean,
It's crazy.
Like, I'm all for equal rights for female, but that type of
Equal rights?
equal. That's what I mean. That's
No,
what's-
but I mean, are you for equal rights? Because women and men cannot be the same.
I'm just saying, like equal. Like I'm just saying over in general equal rights, right? I'm not getting into specifics.
Yeah,
Just
but when
general.
you say equal rights, that gets very when you say equal rights, what do you mean by equal rights? Because I don't know that I agree with what you just said. When you say equal rights, you agree. What does that mean? Like, you agree with equal rights. I mean, I personally don't agree with equal rights because I believe that men and women are different. They are different. A man does things that a woman cannot do. There's no equal right.
When I say equal, I mean, I think a woman, I think, so, all right, so let's just, like, so, way back in the days, right, a woman wasn't, I don't think they were looked at like they're looked at today, right? Like, a woman, like, you know, they were at home, they weren't able to go to school, and all of that stuff, right? Now time passes, but we evolve, and now women are getting educated and blah, 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 right?
In terms of education, okay,
So,
I can understand
I think a woman should be afforded the opportunity.
Okay,
right?
that's a better way to say
so
it.
is and I mean, the opportunities
To have
is
education.
It's the equal opportunity, just like a man could be educated, a woman could be educated,
Yeah.
right? So in that terms,
So what about, like, for
in that
sports?
terms-
Do you feel like women should play men's sports? Do you feel like women should be football players?
well, you're talking about that's completely.
But I think the feminist movement says that women can do all the things that men do, and everything should be equal across the board. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but
That the
I don't-
feminist movement says.
Yeah, but I'm not even feminist movement. I don't even. It's
I personally, I just don't believe in feminist movement per se, because I believe the genders are different, and
I think the point what I was trying to get across was that, you know, like, what the idea of the four being in Korea was they're fighting for equal rights for women, right? For whatever. I mean, obviously it sounds like
Korea's
women.
probably
Obviously,
different
sounds like
from the United
it
States.
sounds like females there are getting treated like they ain't nothing, like they're dirt, right? So they're protesting in a way where they're saying they're not gonna have kids or they're not gonna contribute to society for men to treat them a certain way, because they're the child bearers, right? They're producing these men that's not giving them the equal right that they require, they suggest, right?
the equal right,
That they
depending on what
suggest,
that is.
right?
Yes.
Or the opportunity then that they require. So in that terms, I'm thinking, you know, like, I agree with the equal part of it, but I just don't agree with the tactics that they're using. It doesn't make any sense to me for you as a woman to say, oh, I'm not gonna bear any more kids because we're not getting treated fairly. So, I mean, I can see what they are trying to do. I just don't agree with the tactics. That's all I'm saying. So, and I think it's silly. So.
Well, I can agree. I can agree that I definitely think it's silly. However, I also, like, you know, when you look at other countries, I think sometimes women are dealt with very differently in America than a lot of other countries in the way they treat women. So now, you guys do not come for me, but I'm going to say it. It's going to be controversial, but I'm going to say it. I think women in America are spoiled. I think they're spoiled. I think they are afforded so much, have the ability to do so much. What more do women want? I mean, we are able to enter professions that men generally enter. I know they talk about equal pay, but that's generally because the things that women do are different from the things that men are doing.
Yeah.
Now, there may be an argument that even in the same profession, a man may get paid more. And in some instances, I agree, that might be true. So that is an area, like that's kind of like an area where I'm like, okay, if you're doing the same job as a man, you probably should get paid more. I'm sorry, not more, but equal to a man if you're doing the same exact job. However, in some instances, just I think looking at it from a general standpoint, women tend to do different professions than men, right? Those different professions just might not yield the same income. It may not require the same stress to your body. Just kind of general instances of stress, in a job. So, for instance, being a beautician is different from being a construction worker, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that it's not both work. However, they require different things. Being a construction worker requires a lot more heavy labor. Being a beautician is a little bit more lightweight in terms of the physicalities of the whole entire profession. So in that instance, I don't see that I totally agree with, equal rights in every aspect. I do believe, like I said, men and women are different. And so I think that just needs to be case by case situation by situation. I definitely don't believe that a woman should be playing football, for instance, with, big brawly guys.
No. And see, that's like I don't believe in I don't believe in like when it comes to sports that like you said, like you can't like mixing genders, it's just not fair because a man is physically stronger, right? Or makeup is completely different than a female.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to that stuff, but in another sense, I've just to share a little with with you guys in YouTube land. Being in the military, I've seen females do every and any job that a guy would do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you have some females that excel at that job better than a guy do. You know what I mean? So there's females out there that could handle their business, so to speak. So, but anyway, females were introduced in the workforce in the industrialized time.
Mm-hmm.
So, because during that time before that, men was predominantly the workers. Why? Because like you alluded to earlier, it was farming and stuff like that, hard labor.
Mm-hmm.
But when the industrialized time came around, then you have machines and all that stuff. So women were introduced to the workforce.
And there's a lot of different things
because the
as
labor
well, right?
wasn't the labor wasn't as physically on your body as it, because you got factories now, right? You got stuff doing stuff. So that's how females were introduced into the workforce back then. So I say all of that to say, yeah, it's to your point, like it's gonna be a case by case basis, and the pay, I think that's where a lot of the argument comes about the pay. I think it's the pay. I don't think women don't get compensated as much as guys do, right? For the same job. For the
same job. I've heard
right?
that.
So I mean,
so that's a reasonable argument, right?
It's because, and I mean, granted, yeah, like, so take it for, like, when I was in the military, let me give you an example. When I was in the military, my job, the job that I do is physically demanding, right? You gotta lift heavy stuff. You tote heavy stuff around or whatever. And there is instances where you have like a female, she's just not as built as a man, right? And some of the equipment is just too heavy for her to lift, right? But we might be the same rank and you're getting paid the same. But I'm carrying most of the load.
Of the weight.
So is that fair? Like, you look at it that way and you're like, well, like I should be getting paid more because
so if we're talking about discrimination,
you know what I mean?
If we're talking about a discrimination matter, I can see how that holds weight. But if we're just talking about, we should be able to do all the same things that men do, we can't. Okay, let's make it clear. Women have babies, men cannot have babies, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's equal. I guess I would be the very opposite spectrum of a pro-feminist movement because I believe strongly in being a woman and taking advantage of being a woman. I believe strongly in being a helpmate to my spouse. As I believe, the origin of a man and a woman was a man was created and then he required a partner, somebody to accompany him, somebody to preoccupy him, somebody to be friendly with him, his best friend, somebody to help him, right? Somebody to help build him, somebody that he could build with. So that's why I believe that my stance is. I have no problem with being taken care of. I'm educated, and I have no problem with getting even more education than what I already have, right? However, I also believe that there's there might be a time when I will utilize that education for the benefit of the household or our family. But ultimately, I believe that the strong or the cover of our house or the strong one should be the husband in terms of, doing most of the weights, the heavy stuff, the hard stuff. That's just me.
I think
my hard stuff is raising children.
I think what you're
taking care of the house. We both have different roles.
Exactly, and I think that's what it is like. I think throughout the years, right? I think we have lost the role that we should be playing as a man and as a woman, right? Like it's so, people are so confused on who they are and what they should be that it's chaos, like it doesn't it causes so much confusion that it makes things harder, because you're not playing your role, you're out of line, right? So I mean, and I think that's what you're alluding to, getting back to that role as a woman, getting back to that role as a man, right? Because it works the other way too. You have some dudes that's really acting like females, like like they don't want to. They don't want to work.
Like a demasculinated society.
They don't want to do certain things.
What I mean? So that's
so,
essentially what's happening, and I think that's what's bringing this movement.
Confused.
That's what's bringing this movement. This 4B movement is actually birthed out of this extreme masculinization of women and demasculinization of men. So women are playing roles they have no business playing. So they are mother, they are father, because a woman cannot be a father, let's be real. But they're doing all the things that a father should do and all the things that a mother should do, which kind of hardens them in a way that they shouldn't be hardened, right? And then you have the men that are, because of the extreme masculinization of women, I think, they have now kind of took a step back. And it's not because they're nice, it's because they've been kind of shoved to the side, ridiculed, demeaned. Yeah. So it kind of puts them in a stance of becoming more feminine-like, more feminine qualities depending on a woman to hold the household down, to manage all the finances, and to do the things that... Now, there's nothing wrong with a man staying home and helping to child rear, in my opinion, if it's a circumstantial situation and that's what it calls for in that moment. But I really believe a man should be the one to stand up. Now, circumstantial, it could be a lot of things. It could be that he's sick. It could be, it could be so many things.
I mean, as long as the person is willing to play that role, and life happens.
Life happens.
Things can happen or whatever, and things shift, and but I mean, if as long as a person is putting that effort out to be that person and play that role, then that's what matters.
So I say the 4B movement is a total defect of our society and the role functions between men and women. It's a defect because now women have just, I don't know. It's like some women have just gone crazy now. Like, we're not going to have kids? Come on, women. We're built for that, right? That's what we're built for. We are built to have children. That is what we have been placed here for, to give birth to children. It's a unique situation. It is a very precious situation. It is such, like, it's like a miracle that you can bring forth a child. And for you to just throw that miracle away for petty reasoning.
There was, for the longest, like, there was certain country in the world that women get treated like they're lesser than, and they weren't even allowed to drive. I think that just happened years ago, like not too long ago, that females are allowed to drive. So, I mean, I mean,
key point is that we're equal, right?
I get it. I get it. Like, like we've evolved and we've come a long way, and
we're equal on the emotional aspect.
But I mean,
so I think people forget that, like,
they should be afforded opportunity. Like, it's.
So there's some level of equality. That means that we should be loved as much as a man is being loved.
Yes.
So I think that's where the missing thought process is, right? So a woman is never less than, nor is a man ever less than. So I think men being demeaned and women being demeaned has birthed this whole agenda of this 4B movement, which, as Nick said, he said it wasn't even worth his time speaking about, really, because he thinks it's silly. But I think it's worth a conversation because,
like, and the only reason why I said it's silly, I don't want anybody to think that I'm not for opportunity for females and stuff like that. It's just that
the reasoning behind it.
The tactic.
Yeah,
I think it's silly.
The political tactic is weird.
It's silly, what I mean? So, but I'm all for people getting their opportunity and doing what they need to do.
So we're going to huff and puff, and until we get the person we want in office, we're not going to have babies anymore. This is ridiculous.
And getting people paid what they deserve and stuff like that.
This is a total excuse. Yeah.
But, I mean,
okay.
It was. Yeah.
It's interesting.
That's all I'm gonna say about that, guys.
Okay. So I think we're strapped for time on this particular topic. If you guys want us to elaborate any more on any part of this, or if something that we said struck a nerve, remember to be very respectful in the comment section at the bottom. Okay, over here. We are going to be respectful. As we respect you, we would like for you guys to respect us and our opinions. But let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about it, okay? What do you feel about women going on strike and saying they're not going to have kids anymore because of a political event? And I guess, remind me what that, like, I can't wrap my head around this. Remind me what the ultimate reason was. The reason is they're going to bar their womb. Because what again? I'm lost. I'm so lost. I guess they have the power to have children, and they say they will not have children until they get equal rights, and equal rights are coming from the politics or the policymakers. So until they get what they want.
I don't know what the equal rights entail for them, so.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to find out exactly what the equal rights are.
Yeah, but
So they get all these ducks in a row. They're not having babies anymore. So we have lost a few childbirthers in the world.
like I said, guys, this is not my.
Not sure that I want them to be mothers
to
children that we put out in society, anyways. But it's not for me to say.
Yeah, this is not my favorite topic to talk about, guys, but they're talking about it, so
we're talking about it.
We're discussing it, but
it's on trend. Thank you guys for coming by and watching this podcast tonight. We will be here, of course, next week with another hot couples, marriage, relationship topic. And if you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet and you'd like to see topics like this, please go ahead and subscribe, put your 2 cents in, and let us know what you think. And if you guys are interested in vlogs, family, lifestyle, faith, and fun, and of course, lots of shopping and home decor, which I'm going to be starting the Christmas decor very shortly within the next day or so, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.